Part 1: A strange cup of warm water. I returned to my grandmother's house just as the sky began to dim. Not just outside, but inside me too. The city had drained me. The deadlines, the late nights, the constant notifications. I hadn't really slept in weeks. Meals were rushed, often skipped. My skin looked pale, my eyes hollow. And worse, I felt nothing. They call it burnout. I called it survival. I thought a few weeks in the countryside would help me breathe again. I didn't expect anything to change. Certainly not because of a cup of warm water. That first morning, I didn't want to get out of bed. I stared at the ceiling, listening to the soft creak of floorboards as Grandma moved through the house. Then came a gentle knock. The door opened and her silhouette appeared in the doorway, holding a small ceramic cup. "Here, drink this before doing anything else." I sat up gradually. The cup was warm in my hands, steam curling upward. No lemon, no herbs, just water. "It's just water?" I asked, confused. "Warm water," she said with a smile. "First thing every morning. It helps your stomach wake up gently." I stared at it, skeptical. But something about her voice, calm and certain, made me take a sip. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't tasty, but it was soothing. I asked if she always drank this instead of tea or coffee. "I used to drink strong tea in the mornings, but my digestion got worse with age," she said. "A doctor once told me try warm water first. I did. My stomach stopped hurting." It sounded too simple to be true, but maybe simple was what I needed. I took another sip. Modern studies suggest that drinking warm water first thing in the morning can aid digestion, flush out overnight toxins, and promote better circulation. It gently stimulates the digestive tract and prepares the body for the day, especially helpful for older adults or those with sluggish metabolism. That day, nothing miraculous happened, but I noticed something subtle. My stomach didn't feel as tight as usual. I wasn't craving coffee. I wasn't as foggy. That night, I fell asleep faster than I had in weeks. Part 2: Ripples of change and a sudden fall. By the third morning, I had begun to expect the cup. It would be waiting on the wooden table in the kitchen, steam curling gently upward like an unspoken invitation. Grandma never rushed. She didn't wake me. She simply made space, a seat at the table, a quiet presence across from me, and a cup of warm water. I never told her, but I liked it that way. It wasn't that I suddenly became healthier or that my face started glowing like some miracle skincare ad. No, it was more subtle and somehow more profound. My stomach, which used to cramp or bloat by midday, now felt calm in the mornings. I stopped needing my 8 a.m. coffee to feel human. I slept a little deeper. And most importantly, I stopped waking up anxious. "I told you," Grandma said one morning as she sliced banana into a bowl of oatmeal. "Our bodies know how to heal, but they don't like being rushed." She always said things like that, simple, almost poetic. I never knew whether she read them somewhere or they just came from living long enough. Drinking warm water shortly after waking can stimulate peristalsis, the wave-like muscle contractions that move food through the digestive tract. It also helps rehydrate the body after 7 to 8 hours of water loss through breath and sweat, which can improve mental clarity and energy levels throughout the day. Grandma kept a notebook, a simple one, soft-covered, yellowing at the corners. I found it on the kitchen counter one afternoon, left open beside her reading glasses. Day 9. Woke up at 6 a.m. without stomach pain. Warm water, oatmeal, 20 minutes in gardening equals good mood. I smiled. "You track your mornings?" She looked up from her knitting. "Of course, what you repeat, you remember. What you notice, you can change." I didn't say anything. But that night, I began my own water journal. Day 6, no bloating after breakfast. Day 7, didn't reach for coffee, didn't need it. Day 8, slept 6 hours straight. First time in months. Day 9, skin not as dry. Lips not cracked. They were tiny wins, not glamorous, not Instagrammable, but they were mine. And each sip felt like an act of kindness, not to achieve anything, but to just begin. Then came day 12. I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth when I heard it, a clatter followed by a dull thud. I froze. My body went cold. I rushed to the kitchen. Grandma was on the floor, one hand bracing herself against the cabinet, the other trembling. "It's okay," she said quickly, catching her breath. I got up too fast, just a little dizzy. I knelt beside her. Her forehead was cold, skin pale. I helped her into a chair, heart pounding. "You need to lie down. I'm calling the doctor." She didn't resist. The local doctor came by mid-morning. He was calm and kind, used to calls like this. After a brief exam, he turned to me and said, "Her blood pressure is a bit low. Possibly dehydration or simply standing up too quickly before eating." I frowned. Could it be the warm water in the morning? He shook his head. No, if anything, the warm water is helping. But if she drinks it without eating anything afterward, and if she's not hydrating enough throughout the day, it can contribute to lightheadedness in the elderly. Warm water helps activate digestion, but older adults are more sensitive to drops in blood pressure, especially when standing after fasting overnight. It's important to combine morning hydration with light nutrition to avoid sudden dizziness caused by orthostatic hypotension. I sat beside her that afternoon, watching the slow rise and fall of her chest as she napped. My mind raced. Had I pushed this habit too far? Was I romanticizing something too simple to be safe? But deep down, I knew better. It wasn't the water. It was that we forgot balance. That evening, she woke gently and called me to sit beside her on the porch. The sky was bruised orange. The air smelled like lemongrass and dust. "Don't worry yourself too much," she said, voice a bit hoarse but steady. This wasn't the water's fault. It was mine. I forgot to eat. She reached over and patted my hand. But that doesn't mean we stop the ritual. It means we honor it more carefully. She paused, looking out at the banana trees. Our bodies are like gardens. Water is good. But water alone is not enough. You need sunlight, soil, and rhythm. That night, I cried softly after she fell asleep. It had been years since I'd seen someone speak so gently to their own body, and I realized healing isn't just what we do, it's how we pay attention. Part 3, recovery and the quiet things that last. For the first time since arriving, I was the one making the water. I moved slowly through the kitchen, trying to mimic her quiet rhythm, filling the kettle, listening to the hiss as it warmed, watching the first steam rise. I poured 2 cups. Then I laid out soft-boiled eggs, slices of sweet potato, and a bowl of porridge with sesame and banana. Grandma entered just as I was setting everything on the table. Her eyes scanned the small meal, then met mine. She smiled. "Looks like someone's taken over my shift," I chuckled. "I figured if I'm going to steal your ritual, I should learn to do it properly." She sat down gently, hands wrapping around the cup. "You remembered everything." I nodded. Everything. Especially not to forget breakfast. Pairing warm water with a simple, nutrient-rich meal supports stable blood sugar levels, better absorption of vitamins and minerals, and consistent morning energy, especially important for aging bodies and stressed minds. From that morning forward, our rhythm changed. We still had the warm water, but now we had breakfast and stillness. And the quiet understanding that healing didn't happen in one big moment. It grew little by little between sips and silences. Each morning we shared the table. No phones, no news. Just presence. The light would creep through the old lace curtains, washing the kitchen in gold. Some days we ate in silence. Other days she'd tell me stories I'd never heard before, about her youth, my late grandfather, the war, the garden. "I used to think," she told me once, "that rest was something you earned after exhaustion. But now I think it's something you're allowed to choose. Every day." I kept journaling. Day 15. Grandma hasn't had another dizzy spell. I slept well too. Day 17. Morning feels like a gift again. Day 21. My body feels softer. Not physically, but emotionally, like I'm learning to be on my own side again. On my last day before returning to the city, Grandma handed me a small wrapped bundle. Inside was a ceramic mug, the one she used every morning. white with a delicate green rim. "Take it," she said, holding it out with both hands. "So you'll remember." I laughed softly, touched. "Remember what?" She smiled. "That your healing doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Just start, one sip at a time." Studies in behavior change show that the smallest consistent actions are the most sustainable. When habits are paired with positive emotions and human connection, like sharing a ritual with someone we love, they're more likely to stick and become part of our identity. Back in the city, my life resumed its pace, inboxes, trains, neon light, but each morning I boiled water. I poured it into that same cup, and I drank slowly, gently, like I was speaking to myself without words. "I'm here, I'm listening. Let's begin again." Narration close, a message to the viewer. We often think healing comes from big changes, therapy, diets, routines that cost money or time. But sometimes it starts with something much smaller, a cup of warm water, a few quiet minutes. The decision to listen to your body instead of rushing past it. If you're tired, overwhelmed, or simply unsure where to begin, try this. Boil water. Pour it into your favorite cup. Sit, sip, breathe. Not to fix yourself, but to meet yourself gently. That's where healing lives. And Episode 1, the Warm Water Ritual series. Tiny habits, big healing. Sometimes a small habit, repeated with intention, becomes the anchor that holds us together. For my grandma, it was a cup of warm water. For me, it was the way she taught me to slow down, to choose presence over pace. What will it be for you? Maybe this week you'll try it too. Maybe you'll wake up tomorrow, boil some water, and sit for just 1 minute. Not to do, but to simply be. And if that moment brings you even a little calm, a little clarity, or a little kindness toward yourself, then maybe that's the beginning of something beautiful. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What tiny habit helps you feel grounded in your day? Subscribe for more healing stories and gentle wellness habits. This is just the beginning. See you in the next episode of Tiny Habits, Big Healing.